week on One Devotion. Meet a patient veteran who is making the most of his first real Euroleague opportunity. Follow a trail of Lithuanians who have starred in this year's Final Four city. Marvel at a high-flying showman who just wants to share team glory. And get up to date on the playoffs races with a game left in the top 16. It's tempting to rank Maccabi forward Brian Randall among the Euroleague's best rookies this season, but that ignores the fact that he already debuted in the competition for Alba Berlin 2 seasons ago. But almost as soon as he arrived to replace an injured Alba player, Randall himself met the same fate.
It was difficult, one, because I started that season late. I came in October, and 2.5 days later I was playing my first game. So, it was tough to come in late, but it was exciting to, finally get an opportunity. And then 2 weeks after that, it's cut short again.
Although his Euroleague debut lasted just 2 games, Randall knew that he had found something special.
I had a small taste, and even then I felt like, this is different. This is a good different.
His first full Euroleague season has been different in a much better way for Randall, starting with a call from the reigning champs last summer that left him momentarily speechless.
I'm feeding my son breakfast and washing dishes, and then I get a phone call. So, it took me like 30 seconds to compose myself and say yes.
Except for his short stint in Berlin, the rest of Randall's pro career has been spent in Israel, so he already knew Maccabi well, if always as an opponent.
Playing so long in one country and understanding the history of some teams, and especially of Maccabi, I guess I really gained an appreciation of that club. It was a blessing, man, really just a blessing, and a great timing.
Having played with or against several of his new teammates before, Randall transitioned smoothly to a key starting role for Maccabi.
Having familiarity with everybody and even the coaching staff, it made it pretty easy to come in and just assimilate, to the organization and to the structure of the team.
Although he's been steady from the start, Randall saved his 2 biggest Euroleague performances so far for a special opponent, Alba Berlin.
I always want to beat my old teams. That's always been a key for me is to not lose against, people you used to play for. Just, I guess you can call it a pride thing or ego. I don't know exactly what, but I have motivation for sure. I'm not going to lie and say I don't, but, those particular games going the way that they did for me personally and us as a team, I couldn't have scripted that.
As for the pressure that comes with joining a famous club defending the Euroleague title, Randall says that's not an issue.
As a basketball player, we put enough pressure on ourselves to the point that that's equivalent to a club's pressure.
Along with being one of the Euroleague's strongest newcomers, Randall, at 29, is also one of the oldest, which he considers an advantage.
Some people, said, well, what took it so long, and do you think you should be here earlier or not at all or later? And God's timing is perfect. So, for me, every step of the way, every team, every situation was just, building block for me to add to myself as an individual and as a basketball player.
Ranked among the Euroleague's top 6 players in both blocks and 2-point shooting this season, Randall has proven quickly that he is the real deal. Now he just wants to take his new team as far as possible.
It's definitely exceeded my expectations as far as, what I had hoped for myself or for the team that I would be playing for, and just hope to keep it going.
country that lives and breathes basketball like no other, Lithuania, there has always been an extra special awareness towards the club that has won the most European titles ever, Real Madrid. That awareness has only grown since Real Madrid began signing Lithuanian players in the 1990s, starting a trail that leads this year to Madrid's newest addition from that country, forward Jonas Masiulis.
Lithuania is a basketball country, so I think Real Madrid basketball team is more popular than the football team in Lithuania.
Madrid's first Lithuanian import, back in 1992, was the biggest of them all, the legendary Arvydas Sabonis. He was joined by the great shooter Rimas Kurtinaitis, who had to leave Madrid due to injury, before Sabonis and an American player of Lithuanian origin, Joe Arlaukas, led Real Madrid to the 1995 Euroleague title. That made any game with Madrid's name on it even bigger than before, in Lithuania.
It's one of the biggest events for basketball, in Lithuania. Everybody waiting for it, everybody anxious to see what's gonna happen, because we playing against one of the best teams in Europe. So it's a big celebration.
In recent years, Madrid called on a Lithuanian big man, Darius Lavrinovic, as well as two swingmen, Rimantas Kaukenas and Martynas Posius, as it climbed back into the Euroleague elite.
They told the best things about this team, about this organization. Martynas Posius knew most of the players, knew our coach, so he just said all best things, just said go there and enjoy life and basketball.
Although he just turned 30 and missed a year and a half earlier this decade due to major injury, Masiulis has now played 9 Euroleague seasons for 4 different clubs in as many countries. It is no surprise, however, that whenever he plays his original team, Žalgiris Kaunas, as he and Madrid will to finish the top 16, Masiulis does so with mixed emotions.
It's really strange to play against your hometown team. I grew up with this team since I was 8 years old, so for me it's tough.
After 2 years finishing as the competition's runner-up, Madrid chose Masiulis as the next player on the list of Lithuanians in the Spanish capital. Now he hopes to help the team make the next, final step back to glory.
It's a big honor to be a part of this great club, one of the biggest clubs in the world. I hope we will continue the tradition to bring Lithuanians to Madrid more often in the future.
Now let's find out what happened in the second to last round of the top 16. Alba Berlin edged Panathinaikos by 2, Maccabi prevailed in a must-win home game against Galatasaray, Barcelona claimed Clásico honours, and Žalgiris won its final home game. Alba Berlin kept the race for the third and fourth playoff places wide open with a thrilling victory over Panathinaikos. The Greens led by 9 after the third quarter, but then Reggie Redding and Alex Renfro took charge, combining for 30 points and 12 assists to propel the German team to a crucial 2-point victory. Alba's win meant Maccabi Electra could not seal a playoff spot, despite triumphing at home over Galatasaray, behind decisive contributions from the dynamic trio of Devin Smith, Brian Randall and Alex Tyus, who combined for nearly 3/4 of their team's total points tally. FC Barcelona restored pride and took its challenge for top spot into the final week by overcoming Real Madrid in the game of the week, with Mario Hezonja and Brad Ollison combining for 9 triples. Žalgiris Kaunas used 19 points from Paulius Jankunas to claim incident-packed victory over Crvena Zvezda Telekom Belgrade. Real Madrid retains top spot over Barcelona on head-to-head advantage, with Maccabi in third place, but Panathinaikos and Alba both still able to overhaul the reigning champions. CSKA Moscow claimed a clash of titans, FS claimed a key come-from-behind victory, Laboral Cucha earned a spectacular win over Fenerbahce, and Unicaja Malaga prevailed on the road. On a night when it honoured club legends Sergei Tarakanov and Viktor Pankrashkin, CSKA Moscow lived up to its tradition by clinching home court advantage in the playoffs after a tough battle with Olympiacos on the back of 14 points and 7 assists from former Red Milos Teodosic. CSKA's victory also gives Fenerbahce Ulker home advantage in the playoffs, despite seeing its 9-game unbeaten run on the road ended by Laboral Cucha Vitoria, which took charge early on and never looked back as Mike James registered 19 points. Laboral's victory prolongs its playoff challenge into the final week, with Anadolu Efes also still in the reckoning after a come-from-behind victory over EA7 Milan, powered by a huge third quarter from Tomas Hertel and 22 points for Nenad Kirstic. But Nizhny Novgorod saw its playoff hopes ended by a home defeat against Unicaja Malaga, which gained its third win of the top 16. CSKA and Fenerbahce will contest the top 2, with Olympiacos definitely in third and Laboral battling FS for fourth.
I think he could find himself in a lot of other sports.
And I'd say Branko Lazic, he can play like handball 100%. He's too strong for that.
Like 10 years ago, I have a choice between the handball and basketball. And I think if I continue to play handball, maybe I will be professional for sure.
Gili could be a professional swimmer. Joe could be a boxer. Gentile could be a wrestler.
I think Mario Hezonyan is a very talented athlete. I think he would be good in soccer, but also American sports like American football. I could see him being really good because he's strong and fast.
Buba or Horst in soccer.
Let's say Jan Vesely, volleyball player, because he jumps so high, and I think he can be good.
Nikos Papas. And I would probably say soccer.
Softball, yeah. Football, for sure. Sumo, everything.
Maybe Sergio Yul, maybe Rodriguez, football.
I can play ping pong pretty well. They call me Jason Ling, for real. So that can be my next step. Among the Euroleague players raising their profiles game by game this season
Olympiacos Piraeus big man Othello Hunter stands out as a highlights reel regular, thanks to his high-flying exploits at both ends of the court. Before he became a quick strike force off the bench, however, Hunter's first steps with Olympiacos required him to understand the demands of a title-minded club.
You have to sacrifice. You can't just say, I'm going to do this and that. You have to actually do it every single day. You have to be ready mentally, physically prepared for the battles. You got to take it as battles.
At the beginning of the season, while his new team had 3 head coaches in the span of a month, Hunter's transition was not easy.
It was more mental for me. Mentally, I was thinking something totally different. And what the coaches really wanted is me to play basketball.
Once the coaching situation settled down, so did Hunter, recording his only Euroleague double-double in the first Olympiacos home game under new head coach Giannis Fairopoulos.
I just understood what they wanted from me was just to be Othello, just play the game like you play the game, and at first I didn't take it that way. I wanted to shoot jump shots, do this, and now it's just play basketball, really, just play hard. So.
With effort as his rallying cry, Hunter has progressed to become the main 2-point threat and second best rebounder for Olympiacos in the top 16, a phase he was especially inspired to play after missing it by a single basket with Montepaschi Siena last season, his first in the Euroleague.
I knew the shot was going in just because that's what we did to Malaga at Malaga, buzzer beater shot from Jeff, and he comes down and hit a floater, and I'm looking at the ball go, and I was like, oh, that's game, it's over.
With Olympiacos, Hunter's season is far from over, and seeing how he has advanced with his team's fortunes all season long, Reds fans have every reason to believe that improvement will continue to be his calling card going forward.
To actually be here and be potentially fighting for Final Four is great. It's something ever since I've been overseas, that's been the goal, to be top-level team, try to get to the Euroleague championships.
This season, Hunter can count on help from several teammates who have been there and won that Euroleague title before, not the least of whom is 2-time Final Four MVP Vasilis Spanoulis.
I would say with Spanoulis, he just tells me, hey, you gotta want it, I've learned to really want it. No matter what, you gotta fight for it. It's not gonna be handed to you. You gotta fight, you gotta be able to whoop every team's, just beat every team.
Spanoulis has also been the passer on many of Hunter's alley-oop slams that have caught the attention of Euroleague fans well beyond Piraeus.
To dunk on someone is always the best feeling, because that guy's in his mind, he's like, man, I just got dunked on, it's embarrassing. And then you have to go take the ball out too, so.
Far from just collecting highlights, however, Hunter's deepest goal remains lifting trophies, a feeling that has been few and far between in his basketball career to date.
Definitely want to win a championship. I think that's what's fueling me. I've been second so many times since I started playing basketball, so to be first that's why I'm trying to get to first and just stay there, so I'm just fighting for it.
It was the moment every basketball player dreams about. Game tied, seconds left, your team's survival is at stake. Jason Granger faced that opportunity last season in Unicaja Malaga's final chance to reach the top 16. Defeat would have meant elimination.
It was 3.9 seconds on the clock. It was a tie game. I remember I was on the free throw line. I look at the coach looked at me, he was like, go straight to the kitchen.
Strangely enough, Granger's golden opportunity came with built-in revenge factor. The same opponent, Montepaschi Siena, had beaten Unicaja on the last shot in Malaga 1 month earlier.
I really believe that when you lose 2 or 3 games for 1 point, you finally win for 2 or 1 point at the end of the season at the same time. You tie, more or less. And when we finish the game here in Malaga, I tell them, we're going to win some games for this really short difference, and then you keep working, keep believing, and this thing going to happen.
Still, when Granger got the ball and raced up court, not everyone on Unicaja believed that revenge was imminent.
I honestly thought that we were going to lose.
Toulson nonetheless made a key move to get Granger some shooting space.
We crossed paths, and Jason got the ball, and I was able to set kind of a back screen. And so my man switched onto his, but Jason kind of had a little head start.
When I was in the half court, I saw Ryan Toulson making a good screen for me, and then I make two-step, and I took that shot. We were lucky.
The luckiest floater I've ever seen, and it went in and took us to the top 16.
One person who was not so surprised to see such a shot fall through the net was their coach.
You know that many players are shooting this kind of shots at the end of the practices. Sometimes from the midline, sometimes from 3/4. But these kind of shots, they are able to do it.
But not even after Granger's shot banked in and sent his team to the top 16 for a 9th consecutive year, did all his teammates believe what they saw.
I remember Fran Basket was like, no, we gotta check the replay. I was like, no, of course, I made it on time. So we started jumping, it was really fun.
For the top 16, no Alba Berlin player had been MVP of the week in the Turkish Airlines Euroleague for more than 6 years. Now, a second Alba guard in just 5 weeks has earned the honour as Alex Renfro became the top 16 round 13 B-Win MVP by rallying his team past Panathinaikos 66-68 on Thursday in Athens. It was a historic win, the first by a German team on the floor of Panathinaikos, and kept Alba in the race for what could yet become a first-time playoff ticket for that country too. Renfro starred with 16 points and 9 assists for a performance index rating of 28, which was the highest in the competition in top 16 round 13. He also collected 4 rebounds and did not commit a single turnover. Renfro joined backcourt mate Reggie Redding as Alba's second B-Win MVP of the week this season. Now let's check out the top 5 plays of the week.
Number 5, Tel Aviv, Israel. Devin Smith twisting and turning, going up high, but Patrick Young is there with him. A perfectly timed leap for a great block from Patrick Young. Number 4, Vitoria, Spain. Laboral Kucha Vitoria closing in on a vital victory. Mike James with the pass and Colton Iverson responds with a fabulous one-handed alley-oop jam. Colton Iverson. Number 3, Tel Aviv, Israel. The dynamic Justin Carter creates space with a great move and exploits it to the maximum, racing to the basket and detonating a huge dunk for Galatasaray, Justin Carter. Number 2, Moscow, Russia. Milos Teodosic showcases his sensational passing ability. A bullet to Sasha Kaun, who takes it in his stride and finishes with a big dunk. Great offense from Seska. What a pass from Teodosic. Number 1 play of the week from Kaunas, Lithuania. One of the plays of the season. 2 saves from Paulius Jankunas and then Arturas Milaknis, and Will Cherry with the pass, and James Anderson with the spectacular alley-oop slam. The fans on their feet for Žalgiris. Will Cherry to James Anderson. Sensational alley-oop.
Almost everything is left to play for in the final week of the top 16 as 5 teams battle to fill 3 remaining playoff places, while 4 already qualified jockey for the top positions. A lot more than local pride will be on the line when monthly B-Win MVP Nemanja Bjelica and playoff-bound Fenerbahce Ulker Istanbul host crosstown rivals Anadolu Efes and young gun Dario Saric in the game of the week, as the visitors look to secure their own spot in the next round. Another Group F derby features 2 Spanish teams, as Laboral Kucha Vitoria follows veteran Fernando Sanemeterio in search of a last-gasp playoff berth in their visit to face eliminated but dangerous Unicaja Malaga and big man Vladimir Golubovic. Hoping for another big game from centre Sasha Kaun, CSKA Moscow aims to finish first in Group F as it visits EA7 Emporio Armani Milan and young leader Alessandro Gentile, who will look to finish their Euroleague season on a high note at home. Group F concludes with the only team that knows its final place, Olympiacos Piraeus, hosting eliminated Nizhny Novgorod in its Euroleague goodbye. In Group E, Alba Berlin and Duerol Alex Renfro will be looking to make history as the first ever Euroleague playoff team from Germany when they attempt a second top 16 win over visiting Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv and Duerol Devin Smith, whose title defence might only be guaranteed with a victory of their own. Knowing at tip-off that they might need a win to survive, Panathinaikos Athens and the legendary Dimitris Diamantidis visit the season's top performer Boban Marjanovic and Crvena Zvezda Telekom Belgrade, whose die-hard fans aim to end this Euroleague campaign in style. Finally, Group E's top two places will be decided when Real Madrid hosts Žalgiris Kaunas and FC Barcelona visits Galatasaray Live Hospital Istanbul, as both Spanish superpowers look to surge into the playoffs with victories. We'll see you next week with more Euroleague action.